Hey guys, this is Formulka with yet another World of Tanks review. This time it is the Tier 5 Russian tank destroyer SU-85. I've got it for quite some time, so even without premium account, I never spent any money on World of Tanks. I managed to get the crew up to 100% and I'm well on the way for the first skill, so 300 battles in this tank destroyer, so I can tell you about its weaknesses and strengths. So let's take a look at the stats first. Hit points 350, that's an average. 30 tons, that's also an average. There is really nothing special about this. 500 horsepower engine is the top one, of course. And that's a nice value. With 30 tons, it's decent power to weight ratio, so you won't see 55 kilometers per hour, but it is a quick tank destroyer. You can react fast to the situation. You can rush from the one side of the map to the other. It's not as quick as, for example, the Hellcat, but it's still a quick tank destroyer, so you can react, and you should. The turret speed is, it's mediocre, nothing special really. The armor, it's better than the American counterparts, I can tell you that, because this is at least some armor and tier 1 tank won't shoot through it. There are still like Panzer 1C, it will ruin these tanks, especially the Hellcat. It's armor piercing machine gun or cannon, small caliber cannon can just punch through it, but this armor will protect you from these super light scouts, so it's at least something. It's not utterly worthless, but you can't really depend on it against regular enemies like medium heavy tanks or other tank destroyers will just punch through it, especially with these huge weak spots, so don't count on it. It's just a nice protection from the scouts. Sometimes it will bounce even the same tier scouts shots, so yeah, don't forget to angle the armor, because it's worth it. It's worth it. It can bounce shots. Now, view range is horrible. 280, you can't spot your own targets. You can't. If you can see them and shoot, they will see you and shoot back and most likely kill you, because you will be getting into up to tier 8 battles. So yeah, you really can't spot for your... You can ambush-ish, but again the higher tier tanks has such a high amount of hit points that you can't just ambush them. If the AV is low, you can, but not really otherwise. And 525 signal range is not bad. I thought it's lower, much lower than the Americans. They have 750, which is really like awesome for the T5. But I checked, and the Stuk, which is like the closest other tank destroyer to the SU-85, has just 415. That's like absolutely rubbish. So I used to complain about it, but I don't complain about it anymore. It's like mediocre for tier 5 for sure, but the view range is really horrible. This Stuk has maybe like 10 meters more, so it's also horrible, because this is a very low vehicle, so you don't have a good view of your surroundings. That's why the range is so short. So you will depend on others, and thanks to the still better than, for example, Stuk signal range, you can reasonably snipe from medium distances. So yeah. Also, this tank has one of the best camo ratings, so you are basically invisible until you take your first shot for most of the tanks, most of the time. So use this to your advantage, and you will see it in the example game which I have prepared. So now the tank destroyer, of course, is all about the guns, right? So let's take a look at the guns. The top gun of course, is the 85mm D5S 85BM, which moves up to the SU-100, so it's like great gun, much better than the stock 85mm, well, stock than the previous, but it's rather expensive at 15,500 research points, but believe me guys, go for it. This tank is great for its tier. Tier 5 is like one of the best tiers, so always max out your tier 5 tanks. If it's not something horrible like the some light, weird, not good for nothing tank, like the one I will maybe talk about later. But yeah, tier 5 tank destroyers, always max them out because they are good money makers and you have a lot of fun. Basically, it's a well-known fact that tier 5 and tier 8 premiums, tier 5 regulars and tier 8 premiums are like the most fun vehicles and best earners. So yeah, really take the time and research this gun. You will have no problem doing it with this slightly worse. So let's take a look at it. So this is the gun which the SU-85 gets, and let's compare it for this for the Stuk, which is this gun. So it is a higher caliber, it's slightly slower, but it's still reasonably fast. It's not a slow gun by no stretch of imagination. It has a slightly lower penetration, but much higher alpha. The alpha on this gun is like really nice. I will talk about the used to be best gun on this tank later, but yeah, it's a very nice alpha. It's much higher than, for example, the Stuk. And it's slightly less accurate, but for a Russian tank destroyer, this is like fantastic accuracy. The aiming time, though, isn't really all that good, so yeah, the Stuk is much better, so he can pop out of cover, put one shot into the enemy and get out much faster than SU-85. You should most likely stay there a little bit longer to take the aim, so that's one of the big weaknesses compared to, but as you can see, it's very comparable to the Stuk's gun in even outperforming it in many ways. The other guns are the derp, which I guess you can use, but you should either use the gold ammo or pray that you will encounter other, for example, SU-85s. So you can use the rather horrible penetration and huge alpha of it. And of course the base gun, which is like directly worse. But the progression, at least at this SU-85, is really nice. So the 81st 85mm is a nice upgrade from the 76, and the second 85mm is again nice upgrade from the base 85mm. Nothing like the Hellcat and its joke of an upgrade around here. So yeah, very nice gun. Great, as I said, great accuracy for a Russian. So yeah, this is a very good machine overall. Now about the gun that this tank destroyer used to have, and it was so overpowered that even Wargaming decided that it can't keep this thing on a Russian tank destroyer. I don't know if it was because people were complaining if that it is biased, but something. But well, some time has passed, and they decided, well, I guess it wasn't as overpowered because they basically just put the same gun on the French tier 5 tank destroyer. This is it. The SU-85 used to have 107mm caliber, so it had a few millimeters more penetration, even more than this, which is ridiculous. And it had, I think, at least a little bit higher damage, which is again ridiculous for tier 5. This is a tier 6 gun but feels more like tier 7. And it used to have a slightly lower accuracy, but that's it. It's basically the same gun as this French tank right now can have without any problems. So, well, I don't know. But it was swapped for this, and this is still a decent gun. Much faster shooting gun. So it's not as much for the ambush like it used to be, but it's a very nice sniper right now because it's a very precise gun. And you can shoot at reasonably far distances with this signal range, and especially with your camo. So let's take a look at the equipment. I've put in the medium caliber tank gun rammer. I would maybe swap it for the enhanced gun laying drive, but I'm cheap and didn't want to pay 500,000 for it, so I've played on the strengths, not on the weaknesses of the tank. So if you want to improve the weakness, which is the aiming time, pick up the gun laying drive. If you want to play on the strength, which is rather fast, 10 rounds a minute gun, put in the medium caliber tank gun rammer, which puts it up to 11. So that's like 1 extra shot every minute. That's very nice. Of course, the improved ventilation class 2, which is rather cheap again on this level. I think like 150,000, which is well worth it. It increases by 5% everything, even the aiming time, the rate of fire, the accuracy, everything, even the speed, everything, basically all the skills of your tank crew. Then, of course, the camo net. That's like a given. Just have 1 or 2 in your inventory and put them on your tank destroyers, because this improves your invisibility immensely. It's a fantastic thing. And it's a nice indicator that you are finally hidden, that you have been stopped wiggling and have been still for enough time to not be spotted. Now for the crew skills. I would pick camo on all of them. I've picked up the Sixth Sense on the commander, which in retrospect may be a mistake. But I would pick it up as a second skill for sure. And because the camo of your crew is averaged, so one guy which doesn't have this skill at all takes the average down very much. So it's like he had 0% and just add them up and divide by 4, and that's your camo rating improvement. So yeah, you should, if you are going for the camo, pick it up on all your crewmen, not just on few. And then go for the perks, especially because the perks like the Sixth Sense do not work until they are on 100%. The camo will work, and even at 71% will improve your camo rating, unlike the Sixth Sense, which works at 100%. But Sixth Sense is like really great perk because it basically lets you know that you have been spotted for sure. Just as you are spotted, a light bulb appears above your tank and you know you should get the fuck out of here. So this is the tank. I think it's great, according to the stats and according to the games I've played in it. I think I even have the Ace Master badge, which I am not really like a great tank player. I am mediocre at best. I have slightly above, I think about 52% win rate, so I'm not great, but I'm not bad at either, and I don't have that many aces, and this tank was aced like ages ago, even before it had maybe the best gun. So yeah, it performs very well, and I can wholeheartedly recommend it. Now let's take a good look at one of the games. So this is a fairly recent game in SU-85. I've had just a few hours ago. I am tier 5 in a tier 7 game. There is just a few tier 5s around, so not really great start. Just by looking at the opposing team, there are 2 Tigers, T-29 and IS, so all these tanks I should have pretty hard time penetrating, at least from the front. So I'm moving up to this hill with the Arc Panther and a few other guys. One thing I forgot, or rather messed up, was I will go up to my favorite spot on this map, and when I'm on this side, and I kind of forgot I am not in my Hellcat, so I don't have the signal range to shoot that far, and figured it out a minute or two later. So I'm just sitting here behind this rock, so the guys that are coming this way from the north can't shoot at me, and I can shoot at the guys running across the town and the field, but my signal range isn't really all that good, and I don't think in this tier of a game they will rush in the open in front of me. So I finally, after a minute or two, figure out there is no point being in here and I should move out. Speed it up a little bit. Yeah, that was like a shot from nowhere. I was so scared there was some passive scout around it. Have seen even me, but nope. See, I can't see that IS, I can't see that KV-1S, so I have to move out. So I am the stupid one that is running across the open field, but there is that BDR and the Tiger, so I guess I thought I'm relatively safe. So I'm running inside the city, so I'm in at least a partial cover and can shoot at the guys up there. And you can see now the precision and rather nice power of this gun. There is a Tiger which is crossing the hill, so I can put one through his lower glacis, as it is even in a negative angle, and another one. Those were very nice shots. Shooting at the front of the Tiger, you have to aim for the lower glacis if he's up on the hill like this, because you have very high chance of penetrating. It's like shooting at almost a straight armor with no angle. So I decide to stick around. I have my lower glacis covered, even though from up there there would be just stupid to shoot at it, but well, there is a KV-1S around. And thanks to my camo, he doesn't know I'm here, even though I'm not in the bush. So let's put one into him, into his side. KV-1S has rather low armor for a heavy tank, but it's that kind of troll armor which will bounce shots you wouldn't believe. It doesn't make any sense. You can have triple the penetration, almost a triple, and it will still bounce. So be careful and aim slightly above, slightly above the tracks is the best spot from the side. Yeah, K1, another K1S, and another rather lucky penetration from the front on its angled upper glacis. The second one went sideways, but they know I'm here finally. But I did like 1200 damage without ever being shot at, so that's the strength of this tank. Also, it rather sucks that another nice shot at KV-1S. It makes me like warm inside when I shoot at KV-1S and hit like this, because of its troll armor and its troll gun, of course, which can like one-shot me right now. So that tank, if it's very close, so it could. Now that is like I couldn't believe I didn't hit that Hellcat. There is a lot to talk about. If you are this like not really back. Yeah, at the medium range there is a lot of stuff going on and you can't really even think that much, but I will maybe slow down the game. As I was on the left side of the building, it kind of sucks because SU-85 has its gun on the right side, so if you are going from the right side of the building you can cover more of your tank, but I couldn't do it there. I had to shoot from disadvantageous position, but it didn't matter. They didn't really shoot at me just once and didn't hit, so yeah. Right now I know there is a Hellcat behind me and there are no friendly tanks there, so I'm trying to take cover from him, but yeah. I got a hit from the side, which took out more than half of my health, so I'm now one shot for that Hellcat. And I know he's around here, and that T-43 is also knows about me, so I'm at a rather tight spot. Luckily the guys are capping right now, which they should as we are attacking. Here's the Hellcat, and he knows I am low and wants to murder me. I don't really know what happens. I hit him once, he got one from one of our other guys, but he just didn't shoot. I don't know why. I didn't see him shoot before. He was just looking at me this whole time. It almost was a fail video. And I just reloaded and killed him, and that was the game. So another short game, although we had only a minute to cap, so it was cutting it very, very close. And I was kind of lucky because, well, I was on the wrong side of the line right now. The defensive line moved to the cap spot, so somewhere around here. There were a few guys behind, but there were 3, maybe even more. Yeah, T-43. More heavy tanks just going for this or this bridge near me, and I would die like in a few minutes, but there weren't even a few minutes in the match left. So this was a nice game in SU-85. It has shown as how it can snipe from afar, even at heavy tanks, 2 tiers above. I can penetrate them if you hit the weak spot or the lower glacis from an unfavorable angle. You can penetrate them. The 144 penetration it's decent. If you hit the weak spot, you can penetrate them from the front. You should try to flank them, but it's really more of a work for the Hellcat, as it has the turret and can run past them and shoot fast. You don't have the traverse. Also, one other things I forgot to mention. I can't right now. The traverse speed of the gun on the SU-85 is like extremely quick, 44 degree per minute, so you can really quickly move your gun from side to side, and it is a long traverse and a not bad depression and elevation, but the traverse is really like wide, so you don't have to move your tank all that much and you can still hit the enemy. So in my eyes this is very great tier 5 tank destroyer. I will try and get up to the Stuk so I can try it out. Many people can swear by the tank destroyer, but from what I have seen I can kill Stuks as much as they can kill me, so these tanks are fairly even in this respect. So this was the game for the review, and this was the review of SU-85 tier 5 Russian tank destroyer. If you liked the review, please like the video. If you want to see more, please subscribe. I will put up a few more reviews and a lot more videos generally from the world of tanks. So see you next time, and cover your flanks, guys, out there. Bye bye.